All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be making one of my favorite recipes of all time that is amazingly low calorie, high in protein. You're not even gonna believe how good it tastes for how healthy it actually is. And so today we're gonna be making raspberry cheesecake. And so these are all the ingredients right here. It really is not going to take a lot, and we're gonna make it as easy as possible. We're gonna be using a blender just to combine all these ingredients. It's not gonna take us long to have a delicious, delicious, high quality and high end type of dessert that'll keep us on our goals, keep losing fat, keep building muscle, whatever your goals might be, it'll help you achieve it. All right, so to get started with our recipe, we're gonna be using 1 stick of some low fat cream cheese, which comes out to 226 grams or 8 ounces. So 8 ounces of this cream cheese gonna be going in. All right, cream cheese is in. Now we're gonna be putting in our non-fat Greek yogurt. I'm going with a 0 sugar vanilla flavor. Remember to use a non-fat Greek yogurt. That's gonna be higher in protein, lower in calories. That's the name of the game. And so we're gonna be using about 1.5 cups. I'm going based off eye. If you're not as keen to cooking or measurements as I might be, feel free to use your measuring cups, but it's gonna be about 1.5 cups right there. Of course, all the recipes in the actual book are going to be exact. So that's in. We're gonna be hitting it with 100 grams of non-fat, so fat-free cottage cheese, which comes out to about 1/2 cup right there. This is a great hack in general. If you do like cottage cheese, this is going to be a great protein hack for you. So for 1/2 cup, 80 calories, 13 grams of protein, 0 fat, 6 grams of sugar. So really, really great macros there. Now we're gonna be going in with 2 scoops of vanilla-based protein. I am using white chocolate spice from Axe and Sledge. If you guys want to use this one, it tastes delicious and it is like their holiday Christmas themed flavor. You can use code RIDZIK10 for 10% off your next purchase. If you don't want to use it, that's completely fine. Use your favorite or preferred vanilla-based protein powder. And this is a whey casein blend. So if you're vegan, you can use a vegan vanilla-based protein powder. But 2 scoops. Put the protein in there. 1 egg. And if it's too thick and it needs some more liquid, we're gonna be adding in our Fairlife milk, but for now, I'm gonna try to blend it up without it to see how it goes. Wants to get there, it's just not quite there yet. Just a little bit, you'll be surprised how little you actually need. A little bit goes a long way, just to get through that layer of that protein powder and blend everything up. All right, so that's done blending. It was about a minute on low to medium speed. And so we're just gonna keep that in there for right now, and we're gonna prep our baking dish. And so this is a cheesecake pan. You don't have to use a cheesecake pan, just use a circular dish if you do so wish, or if you don't have one of these. But what we wanna do first is line the entire dish in some parchment paper. And so it's as easy as measuring it out. It's gonna go up the ridges as well a little bit, so account for a little bit of packing like this. I'm just cutting it up. If you want to be more exact, you can totally trace it out, which basically would mean you put the parchment paper down here, you trace out along the edge if you're just getting a flat, and then you want to like grease the sides of it. But we're just going to be using this as our border for right now. Try to make it as circular as possible so that your cheesecake, when it bakes, it won't have all of these like weird ridges in it. We do want a circular cheesecake. So that looks about okay enough. And then when we pour this in, it's so thick that it'll push the edges to the side. But for now, we're gonna spray this with some non-stick, and then we're gonna put it in the oven. The oven is preheated at 395 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna be baking for 20 to 22 minutes, and we're gonna be checking in on the consistency of that cheesecake once it gets to that point. If it comes out too liquidy, we'll keep it going for longer. So nonstick spray, all up in there. Spray all the edges, especially. Not too much, you don't need a lot. It won't stick that much, but whew, don't breathe that in. You guys are probably thinking to yourself, where's the crust, that bottom layer? There's two different versions of this recipe. I'm keeping it as low calorie as possible, so for the crust, it's gonna be sprinkled on top. Now, there is another recipe that uses some lower calorie graham crackers that will be used for the crust in the bottom of it, but it's a little bit higher in calories. I wanted to give you guys the best bang for your buck. It still tastes amazing. You still get the crust on top instead of on the bottom. It removes an extra step of the baking process, so it makes it quicker and easier. So if you're a beginner in the kitchen, this is the one to go to. If you want a little bit more of an advanced recipe, you can check out the other cookbook that has that recipe in it as well. But if you guys were wondering that, now you know. So that's ready to go. The oven is preheated. So this is gonna come out in a great consistency. Just a matter of, look how thick that is. And this is very thick. And we, like I mentioned before, we accounted for all of the macros when we're tracking this. And so we logged in, you know, the whole egg, the 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt, scrape all the edges. We're already logging it as if we are eating it, which we are going to eat it. So you might as well not leave anything in the container, in any sort of prep dish, really get the most out of it. I'm using a rubber spatula, so that way we can scrape off all the sides as best as possible. All right, that's good enough. I'll put that down for now. So you can see, this is what it looks like. It's still liquidy, so if it's not even, or if it's like super thick that it didn't get to the chance to spread to all the sides, it's just a matter of moving around the cheesecake, pushing it to the borders, making it a flat top. And as the baking process happens, it'll even out. So that's good to go into the oven. Like I mentioned, 22 minutes. We'll check on it and then see where it's at. Each stove is different, each oven is different. Even the rack height, it might depend. So we're just gonna be checking as we go. All right, so the cheesecake is done, and this is exactly what we're looking for. If you shake it around, it's almost like it's got a little mini jiggle to it, but what you really wanna look for is these little brown spots on top. That'll let you know it's all done cooking in the center, and it's good to go. So it is very hot right now. What we're gonna wanna do is put this immediately into the fridge, or let it cool out on the counter first so you don't, like, you know, go from too hot to too cold. But we're gonna put it into the fridge very soon. Cool it in there for an hour, so that way when we put our raspberry topping on and all the toppings and all that stuff, it'll be cool and it won't like melt and make the whole deflated cake. So we're gonna put this into the fridge and we'll be back in an hour with our delicious raspberry compote topping. All right, so we're moving over to the stove, and now to make our raspberry compote that will go on top of our cheesecake. So I got some frozen raspberries here, hot pan on the stove. Putting in roughly about, I'm gonna do the whole bag, just why not? Which the whole bag is 12 ounces, so 12 ounces of frozen raspberries. And while it's in there, mix it around. Now the frozen raspberries are already pretty hydrated. You can see when it's melting, you got a nice like caramelization happening. That's a big word. But you also have this like liquid that's in the bottom. Now, for that liquid, we're going to be tossing in a packet of sugar-free, fat-free cheesecake mix. And so this is pudding mix that is cheesecake flavored, sugar-free and fat-free. The normal version has a lot of sugar, a lot of fat, a lot of calories. This is not. We're gonna put half the packet in here, which the entire packet's 28 grams, so go for about 15 grams. And that'll really give it a nice cheesecake flavor with every bite, even in the raspberries. And plus, it's pudding mix, so it's gonna make that compote, which is like a pudding type texture. That'll make it really, really nice. It's not just gonna be liquid or chunks of frozen raspberries. It'll be a good pudding on top with very little calories. So for the whole bag, it's 20 calories. That's only 10 calories in there. So that's in there. Now it's just a matter of mixing it all up. You guys can't smell this right now, but it smells amazing. Turn it off. And now we're gonna let this cool off for just a second before we take our cheesecake out of the fridge and then pour this on top. All right, our cheesecake is done cooling off. You can see what that looks like right here. Beautiful. And now we're gonna pour on our raspberry compote that we just made. Just pour that right on there. All across the top. Get as much of that goodness as you can. I don't know if you guys saw that actually. Okay, and you'll notice that I actually kept the cheesecake in the wrapper right now with the cheesecake pan around it. I think that'll keep the raspberry forming beautifully right on top. Cover that entire top of the cheesecake. Crust. So our graham cracker crumbs, I'm using just already pre-made crushed graham crackers. You can find a low-calorie graham cracker or some sort of like low-calorie biscuit, cracker, cookie kind of thing. But this is just going to be a matter of, I'm going to make a nice ring around the edge. Just for aesthetics, you can put it around the entire, you can make a whole layer of the crushed graham crackers. Obviously, the more that you use, the more calories there's going to be, because you're using more of it and it has calories. But I'm going for some aesthetics here. I used roughly about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3. So we'll call that about a 1/4 cup, which is 100 calories for this specific brand. And so we'll make sure to log that. And obviously that's for the entire cake. But we're gonna put that into the fridge again, let it solidify, cool off, and then we'll cut that once it's cooled. That'll probably be like another hour, and then that'll be really nice to eat. I'll catch back up with you guys when that is ready to eat. All right, so our cheesecake is done cooling off. It looks pretty good. Obviously, that's not a symmetrical circle, but whatever, I tried. The good thing about these cheesecake pans is that after it's done molding, you just unclip this, comes right out, peel off the parchment, right off the cake. And then from here, I'm not even gonna try it yet. From here, you just cut yourself a nice slice. So I'm gonna go right in. Typically, I'll do slices in 1/8. And so we'll take 1/8 of our macros for the full cake. So that'll be 1/4. So half of that right here, 1/8. All right. And look at that beautiful slice of cheesecake right there. Looks delicious. I'm super excited to dig in. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that slice. Hold up. You guys seeing this? That is fantastic. Anyways, let's get in. I'm gonna take a bite of our crumbs on top. Entire cheesecake. Paper on the bottom. Should have probably taken the whole paper off first, but that's okay. Cheesy cheesecake. Delicious. And the best part about this is that it is only 170 calories per slice. The entire cheesecake was 1,300 calories. And just for reference, one slice of cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory can be just that amount. You can have an entire cheesecake for that amount. And most people are able to eat over 1,300 calories and lose weight. And so if you really wanted to, you can eat an entire cheesecake in a given day and lose weight. An entire cheesecake. Pretty solid.
Delicious. But that's going to do it here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we've got plenty others, great recipes coming up, and also just general health tips, fitness tips. So go feel free to check that out. And like, subscribe, whoa, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, so you don't miss out on any future goodies. So that's it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next one.